All right, let's talk about the Detroit Lions. They are beating the brakes off of everybody right now. Obviously, another dominant performance. Special teams carried the day in a 52-14 rout of the Tennessee Titans. I feel like every Lions score is something that shouldn't happen in the National Football League. They just keep killing everybody. And we're seeing this Lions team as they prepare to make their Super Bowl run. I know it's early in the season, but it's feeling like a chance for that for Detroit. They also appear poised to make a massive, maybe really big move here to upgrade a key part of the roster. Exciting news from Detroit potentially coming. I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, this Lions team, they're clicking on all cylinders, undeniably so. But obviously, the injury to Aiden Hutchinson is still looming, and the Lions have been rumored to potentially linked to maybe making a move to address as much as you possibly can. You'll never completely address it, but to add another edge rusher to this defense, as they, again, like I said, they're in a title window. They are clicking on all cylinders. You don't want to have it come down to a game without a quality pass rush. And we've got an interesting report from Adam Schefter himself highlighting a potential linking of a massive move here between the Lions and a big name edge rusher. Let's pull up the tweet here, or post on X, or whatever the kids are calling it these days. All right, from the Post, one player the Lions could be interested in trying to help replace Aiden Hutchinson this season is Browns three-time Pro Bowl defensive end Zadarius Smith, per league sources. Smith has 63 career sacks, and Cleveland prefers not to trade him, but would be expected to listen. Now, normally we take these with a little bit of grain of salt. There's always a lot of rumors percolating around this time of year, but Adam Schefter is for Adam Schefter. For lack of a better word, he is a guy that's got great sources. He's got a lot of links. He doesn't like tweeting and posting things out there unless he actually thinks there's some solid chance of it happening. His whole livelihood is based on credibility. I don't know if he's pulling a smokescreen game here with somebody, but it sounds like either the Lions are trying to get a guy like Zadarius Smith, or they're trying to get someone to go to Zadarius Smith so they can maybe pick up a different edge rusher option. Either way, I'm getting the vibe here that the Lions are setting up a potentially massive trade here at the edge rusher position. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, Mize. But first, Detroit fans in the comment section below. Look, obviously, I mean, you guys are rocking and rolling, undeniably so. You just massacre every other team that you play, it seems like. But you can only pick one player to answer this next question. Who is the MVP of the Detroit Lions up to this point in the season? Is it one of those two great running backs? Goff has been redunculous. Maybe it's the head coach. Heck, maybe it's the O-line. I'll let you group it together. Whatever it may be, give us your MVP of this Lions team up to this point and put it in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on all this news involving the Detroit Lions potentially making a big move here?
Yeah, Nick, I think this move could be more of a reality than people think because there's a couple of other things that are like corroborating this. There's a few other sources in here that really just make a move like this make sense, specifically the Darius Smith angle. Obviously, Adam Schefter had some sources that help him link to this decision. But on top of that, Zadarius Smith came out and said he would, when brought up to him about going to the Lions, he said he would be open to go to the Lions. He would love to play his former teams, the Vikings and the Packers, twice a year, something that was very appealing to him. So there's part one of the trade. Zadarius Smith probably not going to get traded to the Lions if he doesn't want to go to the Lions. He can make it pretty difficult. So there's a want from Zadarius Smith to go there. Then you look at the other side of things. Dan Campbell kind of had a little bit of a funny press conference where the reporters asked him, "Are you guys planning a trade?" And giddily, he said, "We could be. I think we could be. We're going to just have to see what happens." But he also hinted at the Lions potentially making the trade. So all of these things coming together, I think, are really, really good news for Lions fans, because this brings me to part two of my argument of why this could potentially happen. I think if you look at the Lions' pass rushing performance on the edge ever since Aiden Hutchinson went out, Houston doing pretty bad. He's got a 40.7 PFF grade thus far this season. And that's not just, some sort of flash in the pan, because he finished out last year with a 45.2 PFF grade. He just hasn't been great on the edge. Isaiah Thomas, in, his stead of replacing people with injuries as well, has been okay, but they need a little bit more juice on the edge. And we had a story earlier this year about how we think that they're not going to make a big splash at the defensive end position, edge rusher position. And I think this still holds up very well, because if you look at the numbers, this isn't a big splash to go get a guy like Zadarius Smith. He is a guy that is earning just $1.2 million in 2024. So you're not going to break the bank to go get him. And even if you want to exercise his 2025 option, it's only $4 million. So to get a quality pass rusher for potentially a 2-year deal that could help out Aiden Hutchinson, could help this team in the present right now get better at the pass rush, but also later on down the stretch next year, if you keep him around, great running mate with Aiden Hutchinson as well. I think it really makes sense in a lot of different levels. And that's why I'm loving this potential trade of the Lions for Zadarius Smith.
And I know a lot of people, following the Lions are a big fan of Detroit. They're like, why are we going to do this? Right. Obviously, long term, if we could get him with Hutchinson in the future, it'd be great. But we're looking really good right now. Do we want to really mortgage the future? And I understand that sentiment 100% completely. And I don't necessarily disagree with it wholeheartedly. But what happened this past weekend, not involving the Lions, really made me change my thought process. And I was watching the Cincinnati Bengals get obliterated at home by the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have been a kind of up and down team. They're a good team, but they haven't been world beaters like the Lions. And the Bengals just got outclassed by Philly at home in a game the Bengals really needed to win. The Cincinnati Bengals fell to 3-5. This was a Bengals team that was 2 years ago was looking like the second best team in the AFC, right? They outplayed the Chiefs, barely lost one conference title game, beat them in another. They look like, if the Chiefs were 1A, the Bengals were 1B in the AFC, and people thought they were going to be in a title run for a very long time. Quarterback Joe Burrow of Cincinnati famously said, as long as I'm here, we're in a title window. Well, right now it looks like the Bengals title window, at least with this current iteration of that team's over. They're 3-5 and struggling. I don't know how they even make the playoffs. They may not even have a winning record, and they've got great players. The Lions are in a very similar-ish kind of title window right now in terms of the fact that you never know what the future holds. The Bengals look great in 2021 and 2022. The reality is we don't know what the Lions are going to look like in 2026. I think you go for broke here. I really do. A few weeks ago, if you would have asked me, I would have said, don't risk it. You don't want to, send a second round pick or a second and fourth or give up some dollars or hurt your cap situation. Now I'm thinking the other way because I just look at the Cincinnati squad and I don't understand it. I don't know how they're 3-5 with that talent, but that's just the world we live in. Look at the Miami Dolphins. This is a team that a lot of people thought would be good again, and they've struggled as well. Look at the Buffalo Bills. They've had an MVP quarterback in Josh Allen playing great football for 6 years now, and they have made one conference title game? You can be a really talented group with a great coach and a great quarterback, but if the ball doesn't go your way, if you don't take advantage of every opportunity, your window can really close on you. And I don't know if that's going to happen to the Lions or not, but the reality is right now today, I think they're the best team in the NFC by a wide margin. I'd argue they're the best team in the National Football League altogether. Go aggressive. Be aggressive. The Chiefs, right? The best team, reigning back-to-back Super Bowl champions. They've made not one, but 2 trades in the past handful of days to upgrade their roster, trading for Uche from the Patriots and then adding wide receiver Hopkins, of course, from the Tennessee Titans. The Chiefs, back-to-back champions, Mahomes, Andy Reid, Kelsey, Chris Jones. They're a very, very good football team. No one would have blamed the Chiefs if they would have sat pat, but they're aggressive because they understand they're in a title window with their team right now. The Lions, I think their thinking needs to be they're in a title window right now. I understand why the rumors are percolating, and I agree with you, Mize. I think the odds of the Lions making a big move here are going up and up, and I'm not surprised at all that there's a lot of linkage forming here, specifically with the Detroit Lions and an edge rusher like Zadarius Smith.